Daily Report newspaper. Friday the 15th of March 2024 afternoon news. For your office awareness. Construction. Sport establishment and the marketplace office structure. In this article we are going to discuss construction projects, sport foundation and office structure of our days. Starting with information of construction. Cement. The potential value of the cement we use in the market is sold as chemical substance, a binder, stones and bricks. The production of cement rapidly grew in our economy. In our modern days technology, it is one of the expensive material in business. When you mix cement with sand or gravel, it produces concrete. After water, concrete is the most used resource in our planet. Concrete was an asset used by ancient Greeks, and in ancient Egypt, stone blocks were cemented together. The material also takes us back with quality construction that Roman engineers used 1,000 years ago to build futuristic civil houses. In science we will say it's a chemical that includes lime and binding ingredient, but it had other natural resources at first to call it cement. In addition, cementation is one of the business investment that a owner will start within project of creating their own platform for marketplace clients located in the city to meet people needs with the service it provides. Tallest constructed building. Over 3,500 years ago, the tallest building made by man without machinery help was the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. The United States had a record of the tallest building in 1885, the first skyscraper, a construction located in Chicago. In 1998, the Petronas Tower took the title and became the tallest building. The construction business became projects that was undertook by professionals that will take risk and implement projects that nearly looked impossible when it's done. The building holding the number one position recently is the Burj Khalifa in United Arab Emirates, done in 2010. Following the Merdeka 118 in Malaysia that was completed in November 2023 and ranked number 2 in international establishment. The top 10 tallest building of our time since 2024 to 1. Burj Khalifa. United Arab Emirate. 2. Merdeka 118, Malaysia. 3. Shanghai Tower, China. 4. Abraj Al Bait Clock Tower, Saudi Arabia. 5. Ping'an International Finance Center, China. 6. Lotte World Tower, South Korea. 7. One World Trade Center, United States of America. 8. Guangzhou CTF Finance Center, China. 9. Tianjin CTF Finance Center, China. 10. China Zun, China. Architecture. Architecture is the art of designing a building. In the modern day's culture, it's a technology and international civilization that is loved as an art in the top rankings of all type of art due to its dynamic way of expressing itself. From drawings and illustration to bringing the idea in the reality of the real world. It's a talent birthed in construction. Coming with expertise in the field of great techniques in designing and development of new ideas to innovate next-level skills that can be added in an architecture masterpiece of work. Planning. Structuring and building we get to witness in urban architect in its most excellent form all around the world. But architectural works started in rural areas, and the cultural architecture workers who trained and sharpened their skills brought professionalism in the architect industry. Their different taste in regional areas in traditional art concerning architect, you get the Chinese influential form of a building, the Buddhism form, the Roman Empire form of constructing, and the office building for structuring unique construction with their very own great taste. The term comes from Latin architectura, from ancient Greek architekton, which stands for architect, from archi, meaning chief, and tekton, defining it as creator. Establishment of sport. Football. Football was founded in England in the year 1888. It was also the first country to bring professional competition in the sport game. Today soccer have more than 250 million players active in more than 195 countries. It holds the record of the world's #1 sport all around the world. Football can be traced back in the English public schools during the 19th century. The FA was formed as a competition in 1863 in Queen Street, London, and the rules of soccer development took place in the FA organisation. The first name of the organisation, FA, which stands for Football Association, established the first rules of the game. The laws included the restriction of holding the ball with the hand, kicking an opponent, and other football clubs rules that led the game in accordance to get fair and simple soccer. English rugby clubs followed this lead and did not join the English FA. Instead, in 1871 they formed the Rugby Football Union. Internationally, association football is governed by FIFA. Under FIFA, there are 6 continental confederations: AFC, CAF, CONCACAF, CONMEBOL, OFC, and UEFA. The World Cup is the most viewed competition in soccer history and gets more people watching the sport more than the Olympics Games. After FIFA comes the UEFA Champions League, which also attracts a large number of television audience, and the final is the most watched in sport history. Soccer is a game played by 11 players in the pitch, a competition of 2 teams, and the club that scores the most goals wins the game when the 90 minutes in the clock is over. Olympics. The established games started in Greece 8th century BC to the 4th century AD. The first modern game movement took place in Athens in 1896. With a record of 14 nations attending the sport competition and 241 athletes who competed in 43 events, with sport features of the summer competition and the winter competition, with thousands of athletes participating in the game from all around the world. In the modern world, the Olympics Games takes place every 4 years with more than 200 nations participating in the sport game. The second Olympics game in history was hosted in Paris, France. We are in the year of 2024 and the next Olympics game will be held in Paris, France, from the 26th of July to the 11th of August 2024. Basketball. The sport basketball was invented in 1891 by Canadian-American gym teacher James Naismith in Springfield, Massachusetts, United States. It has a large audience in television around the world, making it one of the most popular sport game. The NBA, which stands for National Basketball Association, is the league that qualifies top-class basketball professional players and signs careers that will be competitive, talented, and get salaries for their professional play in the basketball court. The FIBA Basketball World Cup and Men's Olympic Basketball Tournament are the major international events of the sport and attract top national teams from around the world. Hockey. Hockey is a summer and winter sport which originated on either an outdoor field, sheet of ice, or dry floor. A sport of 2 opposing teams using a stick to propel a ball or disc into a goal. Hockey is found in ancient record in 600 BC in Greece because it was played in a horn or horn-like stick. It was also known to be played in ancient Egypt 4,000 years ago, having feature sportive people in game of sticks and a formed object. Modern days hockey sport use stakes shoes. Others have a hockey game of athletes in wheelchairs and the normal hockey played by professional athletes. Ice skating hockey was invented in 1963 in Canada. The style floor hockey was also invented in Canada in 1936. Boxing. Boxing is a battle sport and a martial art that two sport personnel get to wear gloves and safety mouthguards in the ring to fight with punches for a certain amount of time after rounds given in the game. The establishment of the sport of boxing does not have an accurate record. History records some first group of people to use a fist were Ethiopia. When the Egyptians invaded Nubia, they learned the art of boxing from the local population. And they took back the boxing style in Egypt and the sport became popular. From Egypt, boxing influenced other countries including Greece and Rome. In the old days, boxing had no rules and no referee. It was extremely dangerous in old days. On 6 January 1681, the first recorded boxing match took place in Britain, and the bare-knuckle champion was James Figg in 1719. The term kickboxing itself was introduced in the 1960s by Japanese boxing promoter Osamu Noguchi, establishing kickboxing as a sport after martial art skills grew. Golf. Golf is a game played by professional sportspersons in the field. It's practically a term of striking a ball into a series of holes in a minimum number of strokes. The modern-day game of golf was established in the 15th century in Scotland. The ancient version of sport is not clear, although there seem to be records that show practices of the sport taking place. Some historians trace the sport back to the Roman game of Paganica, in which participants used a bent stick to hit a stuffed leather ball. A Chinese game played between the 8th and 14th centuries show a trace of the sport when members of the Chinese imperial court swings what appears to be a golf club at a small ball with the aim of sinking it into a hole. Golf is played for the lowest number of strokes by an individual, known as stroke play. The game is thought to have been introduced into Europe during the Middle Ages. Rugby. Rugby football started at Rugby School in Rugby, Warwickshire, England. The rules was first established in 1845. 400 years later, rugby turned out to be a sport competition played by many nations in the world that come to compete in the Rugby World Cup every 4 years. It's seen as a tournament that one contestant takes the winning cup to their country after a final victory. American football is a similar sport with the rules of the game structure the same as rugby football. Tennis. The game of tennis was established Birmingham, England in the late 19th century as lawn tennis. Cricket. In 1844, the first ever international match took place between what were essentially club teams, from the United States and Canada. In Toronto, Canada won. In 1859, a team of English players went to North America on the first overseas tour. 19th century, it had become well established in Australia, including in the present-day Pakistan, Bangladesh, New Zealand and South Africa. Cricket is a club ball, belonging in the bat and ball games category like golf, hockey, tennis, squash, badminton and table tennis. The cricket game was founded in England, the earliest reference to cricket being comes from evidence given at a court case in Guildford in January 1597. Old-style cricket January 1598 in the modern calendar. Baseball. Baseball is a bat and ball sport played between two teams of 9 players each, taking turns batting and fielding. Baseball evolved from older bat and ball games already being played in England by the mid-18th century. This game was brought by immigrants to North America, where the modern version developed. The objective of the offensive team, batting team, is to hit the ball into the field of play, away from the other team's players, allowing its players to run the bases. Having them advance counter-clockwise around 4 bases to score what are called runs. The objective of the defensive team, referred to as the fielding team, is to prevent batters from becoming runners, and to prevent runners advance around the bases. A run is scored when a runner legally advances around the bases in order and touches home plate, the place where the player started as a batter. In Major League Baseball, MLB, the highest level of professional baseball in the United States and Canada, teams are divided into the National League, NL, and American League, AL, each with 3 divisions: East, West, and Central. Wrestling. Wrestling first appeared in the ancient Olympic Games as an event during the 18th Olympiad in 708 BC. Wrestling comes in different competitive fighting styles such as freestyle, Greco-Roman, judo, sambo, folk style, catch, shoot, luta livre, submission, sumo, pelwani, shuai jiao, and others. Wrestling is also known as a martial art and combat sport that involves grappling with an opponent and striving to obtain a position of advantage through different throws or techniques, with given set of rules for the game. Office structure information. CEO. A chief executive officer is the highest officer charged with the management of an organization, the decision maker of a company. CEOs plays a responsible role in various organizations, including public and private corporations, non-profit organizations, and even some government organizations. The CEO of a corporation or company typically reports to the board of directors and is charged with maximizing the value of the business, which may include maximizing the share price, market share, revenues, or another element. The term, Chief Executive Officer, is attested as early as 1782, when an ordinance of the Congress of the Confederation of the United States of America used the term to refer to governors and other leaders of the executive branches of each of the 13 colonies. Oxford English Dictionary published online in 2011. The dictionary says that the use of CEO as an acronym for a chief executive officer originated in Australia, with the first attestation being in 1914. The first American usage cited is from 1972. Office. The main purpose of an office building is to provide a working environment for primarily administrative and managerial workers. Workspaces within offices are typically used for conventional office activities such as reading, writing, and computer work. Workers usually occupy set areas within the office building and are usually provided with desks, PCs, and other equipment they may need within their areas. As the Industrial Revolution intensified in the 18th and 19th centuries, the market industry of banking, rail, insurance, retail, petroleum, and telegraphy grew dramatically, requiring many space, and as a result, more office space was assigned to house their activities. Headquarters. Headquarters, commonly referred to as HQ, denotes the location where most, if not all, of the important functions of an organization are coordinated. In the United States, the corporate headquarters represents the entity at the center or the top of a corporation taking full responsibility for managing all business activities. In the United Kingdom, the term head office, or HO, is most commonly used for the headquarters of large corporations. A headquarters is the entity at the top of a corporation that takes full responsibility for the overall success of the corporation, and ensures corporate governance. Corporate market functions such as strategic planning, corporate communications, tax, legal, marketing, finance, human resources, information technology, and procurement. This entity includes the Chief Executive Officer, CEO, as a key person and their support staff such as the CEO office and other CEO-related functions, the corporate policy-making functions, including all corporate functions necessary to steer the firm by defining and establishing corporate policies. In current press news of March 2024, the 2024 United States elections are scheduled to be held on Tuesday, November 5, 2024. During this presidential election year, the president and vice president will be elected. In addition, all 435 seats in the United States House of Representatives and 34 of the 100 seats in the United States Senate will be contested to determine the membership of the 119th United States Congress. Earlier this March, the presidential primary results was published after the votes. In the Republican Party, Donald Trump is leading with 1175 delegates. In the Democratic Party, Joe Biden is leading with 1284 delegates. This resulted to President Donald Trump winning the Republican nomination, setting up a rematch with Biden. Will he be the President of the United States for the second time and stick to his promise of making America great again? This is what we're gonna have to see over years to come. That's it for now. Catch up next time in the business article from Daily Report newspaper.